Alright, hey everyone. Today based on resources, I'm only able to do audio version of my lesson, no recording, because I don't have a computer at the moment where I am that can do that. So, with that being said, we'll hop in and we'll just treat this like a Bible Club podcast for this lesson, so to speak. So, let's just dive right in. Have you ever gotten in your car, driven to your destination, and not even remembered how you got there? Your thoughts wandered somewhere else between point A and point B, and your brain just completely went on autopilot mode while you drive. I honestly do find myself doing this quite often, and I put on my music and just start the drive and go, and I mainly tend to do this on roads like this, for example. I just drive through the country to my destination on a road, and I know where I'm going, so I just anticipate all of the curves and necessary things that'll be coming up in the road, and I can just predict what I'm able to encounter. So just like we have to fight to stay present behind the wheel, we have to fight the temptation to go into autopilot spiritually. Hebrews 2:1 tells us we must pay more careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. Paying careful attention requires an active listening and all our focus. We want to protect ourselves from drifting away with our faith. If we drift away on the road, we run the risk of hitting other cars, the guardrails, or anything else in our path that may come up while we're not paying attention and just in our autopilot mode. Likewise, we can be a danger to ourselves spiritually when we slip into autopilot with God. We can get stuck in our routine and go through the motions of life, so to speak, day after day, week after week, and so on and so forth. When we get to this point as believers, we can hear, read, watch, or say God-like things, but we don't really retain what we have just said or watched or heard. And we don't have our full focus completely because we're on autopilot. So with that being said, we need to take back our full control of our steering wheel in life, so to speak. We do this by listening to God and doing what He says. Matthew 4:4, Jesus tells us God's word is as important to our survival as food. God speaks to us as we read the Bible, pray, and listen to His voice. Like I mentioned earlier, we need to give our full, undivided attention to God so that we actually understand His teaching. We should be ready for anything on our journey through faith from point A to B. So as a Christian, we know our final destination, and that is heaven with God and Jesus in our afterlife. And however, we don't want to drift and miss all that God has for us on the journey, though, while we're focused on that destination. But our walk with Jesus must be intentional. So just a couple things to reflect on, and you can read them here if you don't catch me saying them, but first thing to think about is, are there any areas of your life where you need to pay more careful attention to keep from drifting in your relationship with Jesus? I know I've had to think about that in this next one as well. Is there anything God is asking you to do that you need to follow through on today? So I hope you can take those really to heart and think about them until the next lesson, and they'll help you through the week. And I know this is rather a short lesson, but it's more rather devotional type than a full lesson. And I'd like to give credit to someone in our church that did this sort of as like our weekly devotional, so to speak, before our service. That's called our call to worship. And he mentioned it, something like this similar, and I ran with it sort of in my own way, because I'll be honest with you, it was completely unrelated to what I was going to originally give for you guys, but God shows up in ways you don't expect Him to, and it will be revealed what you need to say. So thank you. I appreciate all you listening to these, and not just my lesson, but all other lessons to come, and hopefully we'll get to see one more in person by the end of the year. Thanks. Have a good one.